What's going on, beautiful people? Happy Tuesday to you. Welcome to Dear Mama Part 2. If you guys are watching, I'm in my humble abode. And to be completely honest, whether you're watching or listening, I'm a bit under the weather, not my full self. I have a splitting migraine that feels like a ice pick right here. So I don't have it right now. Otherwise, there's no way I could even see the camera. But it's been on and off the last 48 hours, in which it's mainly been on. And of those 48 hours, I think I've slept 37. I can't do anything but sleep in a dark room, no noise. It's been pretty wild. But anyways, no excuses. The show must go on. Mamba mentality. So this little intro, I wanted to kind of touch on a few things that were in part 1 of Dear Mama. And I don't really think I explained them correctly or in depth. And after watching it a couple of times, I realized I had to I owe you guys a little bit of an explanation. So I have my notes here, but first things first, I want to give, and I should have gave this disclaimer, and I wish I would have said it in front of my mom, but my therapist told me last June, when I was really dealing with some bitterness, resentfulness. Come on now. Resentfulness. I'm trying. And he said, your mom did the best she could, and it wasn't enough. And that's okay. And I had just added to that with, I'll take it from here. So to everybody out there, in case you deal with a lot of what I deal with my parents, let's say this together. Our parents did the best they could. It wasn't enough, and that's okay, because we got it from here. I also want to make it very clear, as I've been realizing through all these therapy sessions throughout the years and everything that I've been doing, I truly believe, and this is my personal opinion, that we are responsible for our own triggers, not who caused them or who created them. So they've happened. And not to be insensitive, right? But they happened. They happened in the past. We know how it feels. We know how quick we can remember those feelings and how quick, something or someone can spark them. But we're responsible for healing those triggers through work, through constant work, which is something that I've been doing. And it's something that I try to implement almost on every episode in some way, shape, or form, whether it's with a guest, solo, my wife, etc. And obviously my mom was, kind of a good example of that. I used to blame her for a lot of things, mainly the things that I didn't have. And it got to a point where I was more focused on what I didn't have than what I did receive. And it caused a lot of feels. I don't know another word or way to explain it with my mom. And again, the bitterness was there. The resentfulness, the anger, in all honesty, was there for a lot of years. And I know my mom is sorry for a lot, that went down, and I'm sure she wished she could have done more, etc. But my childhood, my relationship with my mom, past, present, and future, it is what it is. And for the future, we are going to try to make it the best that we can, possibly make it, and not just live on what we didn't have or what we didn't give each other. It's about a positive mindset. I also wanted to touch on how very obvious it was for my mom to repeat instead of repair, especially when it comes to giving love. As you heard her, she said, my parents gave me love. They showed me love by buying me things. And she just repeated that with me. And for a while there, that's what I was doing with my daughter. And that's what I was doing in relationships. I would just buy gifts. And then I would also expect to receive gifts, not so much from my daughter, but in romantic relationships, I would always think, they didn't really get me, what I wanted or as much as I wanted. And do they love me? I would question it, all based on gifts. So if there was ever a example, no offense, Mom, if there was ever an example of repeating what you don't repair, it was in this case scenario where it was and it is easy just to keep repeating, because sometimes it's just all right? Until you don't. Another thing I wanted to touch on is a lot of the comments, which by the way, I should have started there. My apologies. The comments and feedback from this episode have literally been incredible. They've been amazing. They have touched my heart, my mom's as well, my family's, in ways that I could never have imagined. I mean, I didn't really have expectations for that episode. I kind of went into it in like a selfish way. I just wanted to get to know my mom. I wanted to try to heal. I wanted to definitely understand and to learn and to grow. And we accomplished all that. But in the meantime, we also really gave a lot to the audience. And I'm just so grateful and so thankful for that. And again, thank you for all the beautiful messages and the personal stories that you all shared. Again, nothing short of amazing. So thank you for that. Thank you for that vulnerability, as much as everyone kept saying the vulnerability in this episode, the transparency in this episode. Well, you guys gave it right back to us. So we appreciate that. And some of the comments that I was seeing were, that you all wanted to have these conversations with your mom, with your father, with your parents. And I just want to forewarn you all. The conversation that you saw transpire last week and what you'll see right now, this took years in the making. I mean, like a lot of years of therapy, a lot of trial and error and disappointment. I can go on and on. So I just want to manage everyone's expectations. Like, don't think, oh, JD and his mom could do it, I can too. Like, maybe. But I know for us, and as deep as that conversation was, and actually, as you're about to see now, to me, it went deeper. And we could have went even further, but we'll save it for another day. This took a lot of years of work. It took a lot of years of accepting and forgiveness and understanding that I won't understand, and being okay with that, accepting that. So before, in the past, even with my dad too, I would go into those conversations demanding answers and being very upset for what I didn't get, and very resentful and bitter, and just did not go about it the right way. My approach and delivery were trash, to say the least. So I just want everyone to know, like, this takes time. It really takes time, and it takes the right delivery system, and it takes a lot of patience, and again, a lot of forgiveness. So I just wanted to give that disclaimer. But a couple more notes and maybe just some suggestions for you all if you're still considering having these conversations with them. Approach the conversation with a genuine want to know them, and not just trying to get answers to your questions. Everybody loves to talk. Like, hopefully you understand that now with this podcast and all these other podcasts out here. Everybody loves to talk, and everyone loves to hear themselves talk. So just ask questions, probe questions, do your part in maybe finding the pieces to the puzzles that your parents may not be able to find. That's exactly what I did. I really genuinely wanted to get to know my mom. There were some things that you all heard that I heard for the first time. I had no clue about the length and depth of racism that was in my family. Actually, after the episode, I talked to my sister for almost 2 hours, and she gave me further information that was even harder to hear. So, it's a matter of just genuinely wanting to get to know them. And for me, as I preach on here all the time, it stems from childhood. So it was all about trying to find out the ins and outs of my mom's childhood, how she was raised, what she got, what she didn't get. And obviously, as we all found out, she didn't get a lot. And look what happened in the years that were to transpire. Another thing I wrote down was be respectful, patient, and understanding. Know that you don't have to get everything out in one sitting. I wrote that down. Now I'm realizing, because I have no patience. I'm really trying to work on it, but it's very hard for me to have patience. That's why I've been starting to play golf again. And in the past, I used to always try to get every answer I could right then and there, thinking like, well, if this is the last time we ever talk, I'm going to get it all out. That was my approach, and I do not recommend that at all. There can be levels, there can be stages, there can be timestamps to this episode of you and your parents, again, or you and your mom and you and your dad. So just be patient with it. And again, be respectful. They did the best that they could, and it wasn't enough, and that's okay, right? It's back to that mindset. Oh, another thing I wrote down was be intentional with your conversation, and more importantly, your expectations. So don't attack. Instead, come from a curious, intriguing mindset. So in the past, I would have these wild expectations of, going into those conversations with, I would get all the clarity and understanding that I ever wanted. So 25, 30 years, 34 years, all in 1 hour of a conversation. That was my expectation, and I was constantly disappointed. So manage expectations in this. I remember when I talked to my dad in 2010, it was probably the most in-depth, hard, difficult conversation we've ever had. And I came from an attack mindset. I was pissed and I just attacked him, and he was very defensive, rightfully so. And after that conversation, we didn't talk for 2 or 3 years more. So again, I do not recommend anyone coming. Don't have the conversation if you're already upset, right? Take your time, process it, try to journal out or voice note out any anger that you may have so you get it somewhat out of your system. You're not approaching the conversation with that type of energy. And again, just try to be respectful of them. And know that, as I've learned through these conversations with my mom, it's not easy to have. I have no problem having any uncomfortable conversation. I mean, this is episode, I think, 37. So 37 episodes have been at some way, shape, or form uncomfortable. Even when I'm solo, it's uncomfortable. So I'm okay with it, but I had to learn that not everyone is. So the first part and kind of this part of the episode, we were very surface to start with. I tried to ease my mom into it and probe with certain easy questions for her to answer. And I tried to get deep. I tried to dig a little bit in a healthy way. And I just was picking up what she was putting down, which was not really trying to go that far, and kind of deflecting some answers. And that's fine. Again, not everything needs to be hashed out right here and right now. So just remember to really be patient with this and really respect the person for even showing up to be willing to have this type of dialogue with you, because again, it's not easy. Again, I just wanted to really try to explain a couple things here. There will be more episodes with my mom in the future for sure, and I'm definitely going to have one with my dad as well, which will be very interesting. But I'm looking forward to it. The other reason why I wanted to have these conversations with my mom was to grow, was to really grow. It was really to put all the years of therapy to the test to see if it's all really working. I know for a fact, even by watching that episode over and editing it for hours, that God, I've grown so much in this department. I've learned so much. I've developed more patience from my mom, more love and understanding from my mom, empathy from my mom, and I didn't have that before. And I'm just, I guess I'm patting myself on the back right now. I rarely do this, but I just really realized that I've come such a long way in very difficult experiences and moments. And my history with my family, mainly my mom and my dad, are exactly that. Very difficult, emotional, uncomfortable, and just very hard to have, very difficult and challenging. So I'm proud of myself, I'm proud of her, and I'm proud of us for getting to where we are today. And like I said, my whole goal too was to make sure I had these conversations while we can, because we never know what the future holds. So thank you so much for all the warm messages, the comments. I truly can't say enough. My heart is pouring over. It's just unbelievably incredible to receive all of that. And just from a conversation that you all were just a fly on the wall between my mom and I. So I thank you so much. It was a reminder of how grateful I am and how blessed I am to have this platform, to have this community in you all. And it is getting so strong and it's getting so big. And it's just so genuine and pure. I saw, also a lot of comments of people responding back to one another, sharing similar situations. So thank you. I'm just so grateful. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this part of the episode, part 2. there's some bonus content at the end where actually I'm reading a lot of the comments from YouTube mainly, and I get a little emotional because it, again, just touched my heart in ways I could never have imagined. So, all right, I'm out of here. I got to lay down. It's just terrible. By the way, if anyone has any tips for migraines, please help your boy out. I never get them. It's my first time in like 15 years, and it is knocking your boy out. So feel free to write those in the comments or DM me on Instagram because this sucks. Anyways, I love you all. I'm sending so much love and light to you. Please receive this part 2 well. And I'm just wishing you all nothing but the best should you try to have these conversations with your parents. And I really hope that the outcome from it is better than what it was going into it. So from me to you, love and light. Thank you so much. Almost done. Another question I have for you, Mom. So here I am, 34. I live in LA. Father, husband. Did you ever think or wonder what I would amount to, what I would become? If so, is this anything close? I mean, I was a very shy, introverted kid. So maybe not modeling, maybe because of, like you said, my looks, but just my personality, anything.
Well, I do remember when you went to Paris.
Yeah.
For the Paris fashion show.
Yeah.
Whatever it was called at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I saw the pictures, the video that you actually had.
Yeah.
And I said to myself then, this is what he will be, a model for the rest of his life. I really thought you were going to become this big famous model.
Wow.
Like a Tommy Hilfiger or,
yeah.
Marc Jacobs. Or, because I knew you loved to do that, because back then you really did. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I was really happy about it. I thought it would be great. Marriage, I mean, I always wanted you, of course, to get married and to have kids and a family life. And with Adriana, and I see what kind of father you are with her, I always, and even now, believe that everything is coming together for you. I, again, just really, before the modeling, no, I never thought that you'd become a model. I mean, I remember when people used to say, you should be a model or you should go to modeling school, what have you.
Yeah.
No, I never thought. I thought really at first you were going to be a basketball player.
Yeah, me too.
I really did. I can remember when you used to say, Mom, I'm going to be a professional basketball player like Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
When you were little. And you were going to buy me a car for every day of the week in a different color. I remember those talks. But anyway, so I guess I did think somewhat that you would be a professional basketball player.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, when the modeling happened, I really believed that that's what you would be.
Yeah.
I thought you would just travel the world and keep modeling.
Yeah. Well, that's what I do love about my job is I get to travel the world, meet amazing people. I've met some Chad. I've met Aaron,
great
my buddy.
Friends.
Yeah, a lot of friends. And I also left out, I forgot this too, a favorite moment of mine was Italy.
Oh.
I don't know how the hell I forgot that.
Yeah, that was...
which was another moment, affection moment that we had that was a very long embrace. Tears.
Oh, God, you remember that?
Yeah.
I know I do. Oh, my God, it was just phenomenal. I mean, everything. It's an unbelievable book. I was sitting here thinking, my God. I mean, I'll have this forever.
Yeah. I'm with this.
Hard to get up. Oh, baby.
Such a happy moment.
Oh, my God, isn't it ever, baby? Thank you, Justin, so much. Oh, my God, I love you, too.
You're making me cry.
I can't explain to you. Like, I don't know if I'm dreaming. It's hard to explain. Oh, my God.
How do you feel, Donna?
I just feel ecstatic. So happy. I'm so proud of my son.
You're making me cry right now. Believe me.
Yeah.
Sitting on the couch with Adriana next to me. and you handed me that book. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
On Mother's Day. Never in my life would I have dreamed that it was a trip to Italy.
Yeah. I gave you this book basically on why and how I loved you.
Yes.
And at the end of the book, I surprised you and said we're going to go to Italy.
You 2000. Turn the page.
Yeah. 2015. Yeah.
Yes, that was.
And those memories were great, and always will cherish those. And then also my Greektown apartment, my first ever apartment.
Yes.
That was a moment.
Yes.
That we had. That was a moment. One of the few moments in person where you told me how proud you were.
Yes, I did. Because I was.
Yeah.
I was just shocked when I pressed the elevator. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's doing this.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking to myself, I hope he's got the money for the rent. Because it was just, I couldn't believe that you were downtown.
Yeah.
Of all places.
Right.
Getting your own place. It just was very, surprising. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a lot of beautiful memories of us traveling when I was younger, all the vacations.
Yes. Yes.
Great times, too.
I think it was Lisa and I that just talked about when we went to Aruba.
Mm.
And I said to Lisa, it was so funny because most kids would love to go like on the ocean and all that. And I remember you kept saying, it's too hot, Mom. I don't like it here. I don't know why you brought me here. I don't like it. I don't want to go in that water. No, I'm afraid of sharks. No, I'm not going.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, Aruba, for me, I was 13.
Yeah.
It was actually Adriana's age.
No interest whatsoever.
I don't know a lot of 13-year-olds, though, with Aruba.
No. But, I mean, Mike was with you. He wanted to do things. You just didn't.
I was also very lazy.
Yeah, you wanted to stay in the room.
As a kid.
And I was like, oh, my God, here he is in Aruba, and he wants to stay in the room.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, you were as a kid, yes.
Very lazy.
You never, want to do anything outside. When I'd say, Justin, help me pull weeds or help me do, oh, no.
No, I was very lazy.
Yeah, you just wanted to stay in your room.
Yeah. Actually, another question I forgot to ask was, did I ask you about what was your most enjoyable character traits that I had, or like personality traits?
I mean, again, you were very quiet, shy.
Yeah. But actually, I'll help you remember the Mother's Day cards that I used to write.
Oh, yeah. I mean, things like that. I still have a lot of that.
Yeah.
I have a lot of the letters that you wrote me.
Yeah.
Like when you would do something wrong, and instead of you coming saying to me, Mom, I'm really sorry, we need to talk about what I did, or you'd give me a 2-page letter.
Yeah.
And couldn't spell for nothing.
No.
I do remember those. And actually, I even have one that you wrote to somebody else that I still have. But yeah, you would go with the letters or the cards.
Yeah.
That was your way of showing that you were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Expressing I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I mean, as far as personality, you had a fun personality.
Yeah.
I mean, when you wanted to be, we go to Lisa's and say maybe it would be someone's birthday, and everyone would be around and that you'd be having a good time and joking and what have you. You and I would tell jokes and, goof around. But for the most part, yeah, you were kind of just in your room.
Yeah.
In the summer when you'd be out of school, you'd sleep, until 2 o'clock. And yeah.
Lazy. Kept to myself. For
yes,
sure.
you did.
Yeah.
Yep. This room was your whole little.
It was my haven.
World. Yeah.
Yeah, it was my safe haven.
Yes, it
for
was.
Sure.
Yes.
And the funny thing is I can't wait for Shay to watch this. I meant to say this earlier, because there's a lot of things. She does a very good job of taking the time to get to know the childlike part of me. How I was raised, what I lacked, what I got, so on and so forth. So I'm really excited for her to really watch this because, and I think for a lot of people, it'll make sense. I've always said men need to be more vulnerable and we need to be more transparent. I know it's difficult, because we're not really shown that as kids, as young boys, mainly from our fathers. But ironically enough, for me, it was from both my parents. It was very difficult for you to be vulnerable. My dad, for sure, transparent for both very stubborn. My way or the highway, very difficult to live with. Both of you guys were. So I think for Shay, hopefully she understands these are the things that where I'm coming from and where I'm trying to go. And it's a lot to kind of process and maneuver and heal and fix and so on and so forth. But again, understanding your childhood really puts, again, things in perspective for me. Okay, so this is part of the show where it's called a round of rapid fire questions. So I ask you 5 questions that you have no idea about, and it's to just get the natural reaction from you. Okay, so question number 1 is, what's one experience you've had in your life that you're most fond of? Could be childhood, could be recently, anything. Like one of the happiest moments of your life.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, take your time.
There's so many.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I would have to say my first car.
Okay.
I mean, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was a 1969 Oldsmobile Cutlass.
Okay.
Gorgeous car. I was very happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
My second, I would say when I first got married and first had Lisa,
Mm-hmm.
my first child, I was ecstatic.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very happy.
Okay.
And then my second one,
Third,
sorry,
Mm-hmm.
would be when you were born.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that would be the house.
Yeah.
That we're in today.
Yeah.
That was one of my happiest moments.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Italy.
Yeah.
Was definitely very memorable and like just wonderful vacation. I mean, who goes to Italy and loses 10 pounds? I walked forever, but we'll get into that another time.
Yeah.
So yes, that was definitely one of my happiest moments.
Okay. Question number 2. If you could go back and change anything, would you? And if so, what would it be?
Well, to be honest with you, and probably for my friends and family that watch this, they're probably going to pass out right now when I say this. But probably to get your father, after you were born, to change into being a father and a husband and staying married and turning out to be a happy family.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why?
So you could have had a family life with a father.
Mm.
Yeah. If I could have paid or got someone to train your father or like locked him up in a room with someone that could knock some sense in his head, so you could just have that fatherly figure in that life with growing up with 2 parents, a mother and a father.
Mm. All right. Question number 3. What's one motto that you live by for life?
Always being there for my grandkids, I have to say.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Always being there for my grandkids.
Yeah.
No matter what.
So question number 4 is a little deep, a little dark, but again, I don't know. Something's always been something's been in me to want to ask you. Do you ever think about death? I mentioned how I do.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And that's why even just last night I don't know how we got on the subject of cremation.
Yeah.
But it was hard for me to go to sleep then because that scares me.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why it scares me.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that no matter what or who you will be with, when I die, I feel you're going to miss me. Almost like it's going to be cutting off your arm because of the relationship and the bond throughout all these years that we have put together.
Yeah.
And my grandkids, I feel so sorry because I know they're going to miss me too because of the relationship that I have with them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it does scare me. It really does. I have to say, it scares me a lot because I just feel like I'll be abandoning that really love me. And I don't want to see them suffer like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just don't. I mean, I guess the best thing I could say is when I die, no matter what, just remember all the good times,
Of course.
because that's the way I want to be remembered.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of people, as a matter of fact, Brittany can tell you this, because I've said to her at my funeral, I don't want people crying and all that. I said, and Brittany, to get them to stop crying if they are, I said, I want you to play Bad to the Bone, because you know my favorite song. I said, and you put that on, Brittany, because I want it to be a happy moment.
Yeah.
Because that's how I want people to remember me. Crazy Donna. Who would ask for something like this?
Mm.
And I want people to laugh and just remember the good and the fun that they have with me. So, yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, and by the way, that is your ringtone today for me.
I know.
Bad to the Bone when you call
my
it.
favorite song. My favorite song. Yeah. One of my favorites, I should say.
But I I actually used to think about you passing a lot more when I was younger. As I get older,
because you have somebody.
well,
See, you don't have to worry that.
well, it's a little bit of that for sure. But it's also like, for a long time, like maybe up until mid-20s, I couldn't live. I didn't know how to live without you. I didn't know like how to function without you, even when we were, not talking for a couple months, but I really struggled with that.
But then again, it's back to what I said, because you didn't have anybody like you have now. Now
Yeah.
you have Shay,
For sure.
and she's brought like a total different
Yeah.
you for you, because again, she is gonna fill my void.
Mm-hmm.
Is basically what she's gonna do when I'm gone.
Yeah.
She will.
Yeah. I mean, she definitely has a lot to do with it. And I think something clicked for me. I don't know what it is, but I at one point I just kind of stopped being so dependent on you. And it's not like, I mean, I lived on my own for as long as I can remember now. It's not even about that. It's just more so like, it's like a mentality, like, whenever things were really bad, I would call you. Things were really good, I would call you. Whatever, I would always call. And even before Shay, I had a moment of like kind of peace with it all. Kind of like, I mean, it's not in my control, when it happens, I'll have to just deal with this. But it was more of like an acceptance, like, because I knew I couldn't control it. So
Unfortunately, death we cannot control.
right. Okay, last and final question for you. What does Donna admire most about Donna?
My love for my children.
Mm.
And again, my grandkids.
Yeah.
I mean, family to me is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad because when my brother was alive, he was like the glue kind of that kept us together.
Yeah.
And now I try, which I've made some good progress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say family is
Yeah.
everything to me. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, and I would definitely will attest that you've made a lot of improvements over the last, actually, since your surgeries. Maybe not that I didn't believe you, but you're right as far as it gave you another outlook and a perspective on life and made you realize.
Second chance.
Yeah.
On life.
Even
so I was able to kind of start life over.
Yeah. Even like when you helped me with my knee surgery, I was really taken back by how willing and able and giving you were in helping me for like 2 weeks. And I just remember like I was so surprised because I never really got that type of motherly love, I guess, from you per se.
Well, we were never put in a position. I was never put in a position to help you when you were really like helpless.
Yeah, well, because
of the surgery, you couldn't get around.
Yeah,
and everything, and I knew you lived by yourself. What was I going to do?
Yeah,
So I'm like, no, I'll be there.
Yeah, I think the other thing is like as far as not giving you an opportunity to help me, it's to this day still definitely way more back then, really hard for me to ask for help. Very hard. You're the same.
Oh yeah.
Very hard for us to ask for help. Because, back then I used to think it showed weakness. I got it. I'll do it. Or I know you can relate to this. No one will do it like us.
Exactly.
I'll clean. It's fine.
Right.
I'll clean.
Like I could make dinner, and Lisa could say, "That's okay, man. I'll do the dishes." I'll be like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And the minute she leaves, there I am, changing everything around.
Yeah.
What have you? And before I would probably say, when I was younger, like, "Oh no, I got it. Don't worry. Go home. I'll be okay."
Yeah.
Now, yeah, of course, I do look forward to the help or whatever.
Yeah.
But still not maybe like I should ask
Yeah.
for. But see, I'm such an independent person.
Yeah. And it's also just we're stubborn.
Yeah.
We are very prideful.
But for me, I've kind of always had to be independent.
Yeah.
Because I don't really have too many people, again,
Yeah.
to take care of me. So
Yeah.
I am very, very independent.
Yeah.
And again, stubborn, that's got to be my way or the highway.
Yeah. Well,
I hate to say it, but
honey, see?
it's true.
See, love?
Sorry, Shay. I'll make sure that don't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, this is the last and final thing for the episode. I always take a moment to acknowledge my guest. So I don't even know where to start, but I got a couple of things. First of all, thank you again for coming on. I know you were like super nervous. I didn't want to tell you this, but there are thousands of people who watch this.
Oh my God.
There are like I've had a video that 80,000 people have seen, 50,000, so on and so forth. I didn't want to tell you that because I knew it would freak you out, but
I would have never did it.
I know that's another reason why I didn't tell you. But you were amazing, and you did such a good job. It flowed naturally and beautifully. I knew it would be that way. I just needed you to kind of see it to believe it, kind of thing. But you were great, and this will help out so many people. It helped me. I hope it helped you too. It'll help Shay and Adriana. Again, one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this was I didn't want to have any regret. Same reason why I took you to Italy when I did. I didn't want to have any regret in case something were to happen. And I'm sitting there, saying, oh, I should have taken her to Italy when I blah, blah, blah. I also want to acknowledge you for always being there for me. I remember as a kid, I was always in trouble in school. And then even like with racism stuff in school, you always had my back, Even when I was wrong, you would have my back. Even when kids were picking on me in school and bullying me, I'd come home and, what's wrong? I thought I just dropped you off. Why are you already back? And so-and-so. And you would get in the car and drive. And that was really helpful and impactful for me because I grew up always thinking no one was ever there for me aside from you. And that's also why it was so hard for me to accept when you chose your partner over me at that particular time. Him and I didn't get along. I was 17, 18. And he gave you an ultimatum and said, it's either me or Justin. Mm-hmm. And you chose him. And the reason why that was so hard, I've never maybe said this to you. I remember thinking, there's no way. Not this person. Not my mom. There's no way. My dad, sure. Stepdad, sure. Girls, fine. Friends, whatever. But not you. And when you did, it broke my heart. Because I just remember thinking, like, this is us. This is me and you. I talked about all the things we were as when I was a child. We would be inseparable. Like, we had such a bond. We went through everything together, the ups, the downs. There was a lot of downs. You broke my heart, and it was really hard for me to this day, if I'm being honest, to forgive you for that. I accept it for sure. Mm-hmm. I know your heart. I know it's probably, not to put words in your mouth, but it's probably a regret for you. But, it was just really hard for me. Coming from an abandonment issue, as you knew, with my dad. And then for you to abandon me, I'm like, So
See, I guess I didn't look at it like I was abandoning you.
yeah,
I chose you over somebody else.
you chose them over me.
Yeah. Well, one person over you.
Yeah.
And so to me, though, I didn't feel like, that I was abandoning you. I still wanted you to stay here and that you're the one who said, no, I got to move.
Well,
now.
no, because he said if I come back,
Well,
he's still here.
Right. But I mean, so it was just, I didn't feel that
Yeah.
strong of a word.
Yeah,
say
yeah.
That, you thought.
Yeah.
And the feeling that you have. I didn't look at it that way.
Yeah.
My thing, to be honest with you, and this is very selfish, of course, of me as a mother, but back then I was into Harley so much
Yeah.
that I was like obsessed
Right.
with them.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finally found a Harley guy,
Mm-hmm.
which was one of my dreams,
Mm-hmm.
that I'd have someone to ride with and do things with, it was just like a whole new life opened up for me.
Yeah.
And
Well, also full circle though, it's back to the first guy who ever showed you love.
yeah,
This guy we're talking about in particular, he showed you a lot of
yeah,
love,
he did.
and
Yeah,
here it is. The cycle keeps repeating.
yeah,
And unfortunately,
yeah.
you kind of made like a permanent decision on a temporary feeling,
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's
Yeah,
it's
I'm sure that. I know. I mean, we've talked about it a couple times.
yeah,
How bad you felt and what have you, and it's unfortunate because of.
yeah,
Well, though, maybe this will help. I guess
mm.
for now. I think that decision back then you couldn't understand, and it was heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure. But if you look at it now, Justin, I would be alone if it wasn't for that.
Yeah,
And, I mean, we're not going to get into
mm-hmm.
the whole situation of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think by you living in LA, I think you do have some peace of mind knowing that I'm not here.
Oh, of
by myself.
course. I mean, there's a lot.
And the help
Yeah.
that he does give.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's some good and there was some bad with it.
There's a lot, not even take me off the table, but there's a lot of bad just because of the
No question.
stress that is caused and all that, so,
No question.
yeah, I mean, listen, everything happens for a reason, but that moment
Right.
was a catalyst for me and a pillar in my foundation of trust for people, let alone love, that I am to this day. This is not my to like.
No, I know.
Yeah, I'm just
I know.
getting this out. To this day is so hard for me to heal from, and it has affected me in my entire life thereafter, especially in relationships, because anytime I would let someone get close to me, I would be so afraid they would hurt me. So I would hurt them before I got hurt. And that's like with Shay too, it's like,
Yeah.
it's just hard. But
Well, definitely try
yeah,
very, very hard not to ever take it out on her because
no, I never did.
she will be there for you 300%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, she'll never hurt you, say it like that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely would
Yeah.
go to my grave with that
Oh,
statement.
for sure. But you know how it is, like when you have those trust issues,
Yeah.
it's hard to let people in completely, fully, transparently, all the way.
Yes, it is.
Knowing, because that feeling that you have is, there's a saying that says, people forget what you say to them, but they never forget how you made them feel. And that feeling of abandonment and being taken advantage of, or being neglected and rejected, that never goes away. And especially when you really like love someone, it's a fight for me. I want to let Shay all the way in, but my heart, parts of my subconscious are like, hey, but remember, look what happened back when, look what happened back then, look what happened to this situation. And it's just
right, but it's a little bit different with a mother and wife.
Right, but I'm saying like,
You know what I
my
mean?
dad, you,
Yeah.
Mike, Mitch, there's a lot of things here, but to your point, that's family. this is love.
Right.
This,
Exactly.
and
This is a new chapter in your life.
yeah.
You got to let the old chapter go.
Yeah. Well, I have to.
And I'm sure it's difficult, but
Yeah.
you have to.
I know. I'm working on it for sure.
Let her in because,
Yeah. Yeah.
again,
For sure working on it. But I think she understands how hard, a lot of things were and why I kind of am the way I am and do some of the things that I do. And it helps when you really, like if you understood any of your husband's past, the way they were raised, like to detail, and maybe if they were able to be transparent, open with you and telling you, like I tell Shay, I'm sorry, it's really hard for me because of blah, blah, blah. She understands that so much more. It would have been a lot easier for you and your relationship and them with you too, if they would have known your childhood and stuff. So again, if, this is all for people listening and watching at this point to take away, understand that when you love someone today, you also have to love the childlike part of them. You have to love and respect and be sensitive to what they went through back when and make sense of it all, because everything stems back from childhood, no matter how we look at it. The one thing I've really learned in therapy. So, but anyways, this was like way off from the acknowledgement moment, but really quick back to that and we can end. And I think I wrote this in your letter when we were, for my wedding. Mm-hmm. One thing that I really hope for you is that you're proud.
And that I am. Very, very proud of you. Very proud of you.
Because I am trying.
I know you are. I know you are. And you have succeeded, Justin. I think I just told you that even in that virtual birthday and birthday cards, Christmas cards, what have you. You have definitely exceeded my expectations of you. I mean, you really have. And I know there's still more to come. You're not done.
For sure.
So I'm hoping that I can still be here.
Yeah.
To see some more success.
And hopefully more grandkids for you to love.
Yes, a grandson.
Especially a boy.
Please.
Yeah. For everyone, my mom has 3 granddaughters, no grandson. So,
but I mean, they're the best.
Oh yeah. And, but I know you want a boy, but
yeah, I just would like a little boy.
Yeah. But that, the being proud, and then I really hope I've done enough. I've done my part. I've said enough. I've shown enough for you to know how much I love you.
I do. And you have. You've been over backwards for me. And you've been there for me too. An awful lot, through ups and downs and so many different things. That's why I say you're kind of like, I guess I could say my ride or die. My soulmate,
Yeah.
I know it sounds silly because a soulmate's normally a boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband, wife, but a soulmate can be any type of a soulmate, really, to be honest with you. There's really no perfect definition, I guess, or permanent definition.
Yeah.
So, but yes, you have definitely made me proud.
Good.
And I want you to continue.
Yeah.
Keep going down the same path that you're doing.
Well, I feel like I'm just getting started with this, and I really feel like this is the legacy back to that. So I'm looking forward to it. But this was kind of a check off my new added things to my bucket list to have you on and to have these conversations. I'm looking forward to more.
Well, now that I know how many viewers you have, it'll be questionable.
I'll have to just record our phone calls, I guess.
It'll be very questionable.
Yeah.
Because now this is in the back of my head.
Well, when I have my own show and there's real cameras and camera crews and stands full of people, so if you can, this is nothing. This is the lowest scale it'll ever be.
Okay. But I'll remember this.
Yeah.
For now, this is good. I'm happy with this.
Well, thank you again, Mom. I love you.
You're very, very welcome, and I love you too.
And I hope this helps out a lot of people. So you guys were like a fly on the wall for us. This is, we're almost at 3 hours. This is normal for us. But I really hope everyone also takes this as a sign and a message that, maybe you needed to hear this. Maybe you needed to hear all of this. And I hope it puts things in perspective. Hope you understand and get more clarity, more closure, and ultimately just find happiness in whatever that is, causing any type of pain or has caused pain. So until next time.
Yes, thank you very much. I enjoyed this.
All right. Beautiful people, I was inspired to bring you into the office. I'm going through all the comments from the Dear Mama episode, and I'll zoom in here so you can see, but as you can see, there are a lot. I think it's at like 140 something as I record this video, but I don't know, I just wanted to include you all. I wanted, not so you can see that I respond, it's not even about that, it's just like these comments, all the comments and all the videos are so inspiring and so touching. But I think these have been more impactful for me because that episode was just so close to home, and I was really nervous to do that episode because I wasn't sure how my mom would receive what I had to say. Wasn't sure if she'd answer the questions that I would have. And full disclosure, full transparency, every time my mom and I would try to touch on some of the things that we touched on, it never ended well. So it was a huge risk for your boy, and the fact that it went way better than I could ever have expected or hoped for really just touched my heart and again in a way I can't even describe. So I'll read some off to you. I want to start with one that, yes, I just want to start with this one. It's unbelievable. You and I have a lot of similarities in the way we grew up, JD. I relate to you a lot as a person, and I'm also rigorously trying to heal and recover from similar childhood traumas and the maladaptive behaviors and mindsets I've picked up as a result. My biggest takeaway from this podcast episode, while listening, I decided that I want to let love in. I finally am in a place where I want to allow myself to receive love. Not just learn how to give love, but to give myself the space to receive love. Your mom's health scare made me think about how we really need to keep things in perspective with our families, because no matter how much trauma our parents have subjected us to, we can choose to hold that against them forever, or learn to love them and hear their story too, with healthy boundaries, of course. I responded to this person while I was crying from reading the message because first of all, I can relate to them, and I'm currently, as you guys know by now, in the last couple episodes, and enjoy the podcast. I've been very vocal and vulnerable to admit that I haven't completely let my wife into my heart yet. I give like a 70% range, and it's an active, daily, consistent priority of mine. A lot through therapy as well. So to hear someone who I can relate to who's going through a similar thing to say, not just to learn how to give love, but then also have the space to receive love, to create that space, and then to have it to give, is so powerful. And I envy this person because I can't wait to get to that moment as well, to be able to understand how to receive love, to recognize that, be in that moment, and then to put yourself out there is so brave and so courageous. I just envy this person. So it's such a beautiful comment. I'm just in awe of what has been created from my little idea like a couple years ago. It blows my mind. It completely blows my mind. Like, I had an idea, I had a thought. I just wanted to help people. I wanted people to feel like they weren't alone. I wanted people to be able to relate to others in similar situations of adversity, trauma, triggers, grief, etc. And not only has that been created by all of us, I'm just the guide, but it's literally impacted lives across like the world. from here, like from right here. It blows my mind. I'm just in awe. I see you all. I hear you all. I appreciate you all. And I am beyond humbled and honored and grateful to be able to host such a powerful platform and a presence for everyone, for all walks of life, all races, nationalities, ages, sexual identification. I don't care. I just want everyone to know that you're not alone. So again, I just felt compelled to read a couple of these. Sorry, I got off track, but I just wanted to give you that. Sorry, it's hard to articulate myself right now. I have a lot of feels. Okay. I don't want to lose my place. This is one of the most beautiful and real things I had seen in a long, long time. Thank you so much for doing this and for sharing it with us. My grandmother had my mom when she was 16 years old. My grandmother did not know how to be a mother to my mom. My mom did so much better than her mother, yet it was still not enough for me. I never had affection that I needed when I was growing up. This is why my primary love language is physical touch. I miss just being held close, embraced, etc. But I needed that most when I was a baby. But my mom couldn't give it to me. Couldn't give me what she never received herself. My grandmother too, etc. And this is where we come. The ones who came to be the transformation point in our bloodlines. Wow. We came here to heal the dysfunction and shift it. And it's so beautiful and powerful and hard. These days it's different. I give my mom hugs and kisses when I do see her. I make sure to learn about her and how she subjectively experienced her life. It is precious. We should all indeed do that while we still have the time. Thank you for being one of the fellow souls that came here to be the change. I see you. I appreciate you. And I empathize. Much love to you and your mom. This is what I mean. Like, the power of, this is the YouTube platform, but the power of connecting with people across the world who, like, I see this person. I totally understand what they're saying. It's a lineage thing, as she called it. They called it a bloodline. That's exactly what it is. And it is precious, but it is so hard at the same time. And they're right. You know, it takes one person in this lineage, ancestry line, to break it, to stop it, to heal it, and then to prevent it from happening further. I do feel responsible and also being that person. So this is everything. The other thing I want to say too is I really try to respond to every single comment on here. Instagram, I read all the reviews on Apple Podcasts, etc. But I can't wait to be in person with you all, to literally be able to lay eyes on you and we can have these conversations together in person, face to face. Like this isn't enough for me. It's not enough for me at all. Every time I think about that, I get more and more inspired and motivated and excited to get out here and to really have an even deeper impact on lives. And again, be able to put a face to a name and a face to a YouTube name or Instagram handle name. I just can't wait for that. I can't wait to meet all of you and be able to again have these conversations in person. JD, I have so much respect for you and your mom for sharing this real and deep conversation. You are really doing something special here, opening up your heart and soul and sharing the web and tapestry of who you are and becoming has been so incredible to watch. This channel means so much to me. Thank you. This episode really just solidified the fact that I need to have more in-depth conversations with my parents and others that are close to me in my life. I'm on a healing journey as well, a growing in my faith with God, and it's so scary to put yourself out there to people because they only know the broken you or the person you try to be for them, and shedding those layers is really difficult but rewarding. This episode just clarified that even though I go back and forth with not having these conversations, they need to be had, even if it doesn't turn out the way I want it to. Thank you for being so vulnerable and open in your podcasts. They really help me in so many ways. Monica, I'm gonna respond to you right now. You'll see it probably before this video, but I was also the broken version of myself that I thought only people would remember. But not to be cliche, I'm not selling shit right now. I just want to talk to you all. If I can do this, if I can make the necessary changes, if I can heal from childhood experiences and fix bad old habits and patterns and triggers, every single one of you watching this, if you're still here, can as well. All of these books help, podcasts help, and but overall you have to want it and you have to believe that it's possible. A lot of people are responding to when I called out some names and just wanted to check in with everybody, and there were a lot of responses that are reminders that everyone's under construction and everyone's going through different things. So someone responded and said, "I'm okay. I've been using coping skills to balance my everyday life dealing with depression, anxiety, and stress. I want to do more." So with this type of message, which I'm sure a lot of us can relate to, as I've said to a lot of the people here in response to me checking in, how are you guys doing? How do you feel today? A couple things. One, be patient. Be patient with yourself, forgive yourself, reward yourself. I'm going to talk about it on an episode coming up here. Maybe I'll just do a separate video, but here's what I want to allude to. What's worked for me in the past in dealing with a lot of these things, you have to be aware that you're dealing with these things, and this person is. Being aware of dealing with depression, anxiety, and stress. That's the first step, right? It's the first A. The second A is you have to accept it. You have to accept it. You can't be in denial about it. You can't blame anybody else for it. You just have to accept it. The second A. And then the third A is apply, or application. Now that you're aware and you accept, it's time to find what you need in order to apply the necessary changes to heal, to resolve, to clarify, to provide some type of solution. So be aware, accept, and apply. So for whatever that's worth to everybody, I hope that helps. Justin, you literally are my hero, mentor, and coach. One day I'm going to meet you and share the lessons you have taught me. In 1 year, I will have you on my podcast, Manifesting as We Speak. It's from Miss Morton. It's still extremely difficult for me to take compliments, but I'm working on it. And to hear any one of those three words on their own, hero, mentor, or coach, is beyond humbling, and I'm honored. But to see and hear all three is unbelievable. Unbelievable. To think like, and I still kind of am, but definitely was before, like a year or two ago, in search of a mentor and a coach. So to think and hear and receive that I could be that for someone else, surreal, incredible. Incredible. I won't keep you all much longer. I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you. We're doing this together. This is like fuel for me, motivation, inspiration. I don't dread these at all. I look forward to them. I look forward to responding to every single one. It takes me a little while sometimes because there's a lot of other things going on, but I just want to make sure that I get to all of them while I can. So for me, to you all, thank you. If you've read the book, The Magic, you know what the symbolic nature of saying thank you in that three-peat way, why it's so special. I'm here for it, and I just can't wait to create more, and I can't wait to be in person with you all and really just continue to connect and build this community. So from my office, the Who Can Relate headquarters, to you, wherever you are, thank you again, and see you next week.